SysloSpice digital recipes for dominance. SysloSpice. Recipes for digital dominance. Hello everybody, we're gonna dive right in. All right, here's what's going on. So we got a little bit of SysloSpice coming at you. We're gonna do free weekly trainings on everything relating to marketing, digital media, video production, video editing, website design, graphic design, social media design, how to generate more leads, growing a digital brand, brand transformation, brand strategies. They're all gonna be free live trainings that you're gonna get an accessible link to. We're gonna do it every Wednesday at 7 p.m. My goal is to really educate you, give you some spice, throw some heat on it, build it all together so that you have everything you need for free to check out and improve your brand, your marketing efforts on social media right now, especially right now with everything that's required to bring your brand, your business, whatever it may be, into the digital era. So I hope to see you there. Sign up, let's get you on. I look forward to seeing you there. SysloSpice, recipes for digital dominance. I'll see you there. Hey guys, you should be able to hear me now. I'll repeat everything I just said because I had the wrong setting on there, but just wanted to say, hey, welcome back. It's 2022. We got a lot of stuff that's going on, a lot of things that we're going to handle. Been a little while since we had one of these, a few weeks at least. Hope everybody had a great Christmas, had a great New Year as well. This one we're going to talk about. I'm going to tell you what I'm doing for January and the start of 2022, and how we're going to implement a lot of the strategies for us, and hopefully that'll give you guys some ideas of what you could do for yourselves in what it is that you have coming up in the coming year for your business, all the way across the board. So hopefully you'll find some insights here, find some things that you could apply, utilize right away, just to kind of get your mindset right for the start of 2022. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, go over there, check that out. I put all of the replays up on the channel when they're done. So we get those out, we get those up, and we get those distributed. All right. So if you guys have any questions or anything, you could drop it into comments there. You can handle that. You can do everything you need on that front. Otherwise, we'll dive in right to what we're going to talk about today. Right. So really the first thing that I like to do, and what you should really do, is just set some goals. Obviously, everybody says this, but really, what are your goals for your marketing? Okay. Everybody sets their goals for their business. They set their goals for their sales. They set their goals for, weight loss, whatever. But where are your goals for marketing? Where are your goals for your content? Where are your goals for doubling your advertising spend or increasing the amount of content that you want to distribute out into the marketplace? Okay. Where is that at? And that's really something that you have to take seriously, because you guys have been on this long enough and you follow along with my content. It's a muscle that has to be built. It's a muscle that has to be developed. It's a muscle that has to be continuously nurtured, right? And we don't want to copy what anybody else is doing. We don't want to do any of that stuff. We want to go very strict with who we are, what we're about, what the company is, and everything like that. So what are the goals? And so I'll tell you what some of the goals are that we have. I'd like to personally triple my ad spend. I'd like to go from where I am to 3 times what I'm doing, which means I'm making probably 5 times what that is now, which is what I want to do. I'd like to increase the amount of followers that I have from this number to this number. I'm looking at the amount of leads that were coming in. I want to increase the number of leads that I'm going to get. I want to increase the amount of engagement that I get across my platforms, and really take the time to deep dive on the content that we create, right? So for me, that's really, really, really important. Increasing the content distribution. I mean, we have already hit numbers that are unfathomable. I mean, on my Instagram alone, I think we're reaching anywhere from 270 to, I'm just going to adjust my chair here. We're reaching anywhere from 270 to, I would say, about 270,000 people every other day if I post consistently. That's organic, which is great. The thing that I want to do as well with that is that I'm looking for, a lot more reaches inwards. And the way that I need to do that is I need to look at it from the perspective of, okay, what's everybody wanting right now? So I spent probably the last few days, I haven't posted as much as I normally post, mostly because I'm kind of collecting my thoughts for the direction that I want to go with a few of the products that we have, and what it is that we actually offer and what we solve for people. So my job is to really go through the entire deal on that front and create something that's a little bit more unique than normal, but also be able to continue at the level that we're producing on that front, right? And the other thing that's really interesting that we're looking at is, going a little bit bigger on the brand and making a multifaceted brand. I want Syslo Ventures and Robert Syslo to not just encompass marketing, but I'd like it to encompass a few other things, which we're going to get into and talk about today. And these are the kind of questions that you really should be asking yourself when it comes to what is it that you want to do in 2022? What is it that you want to do across the board for attracting larger scale clients? Is just, okay, what is it in addition to what we already know at this point? Could I actually create a new viewpoint that maybe I haven't touched on before? And so that's what I'm trying to focus on right now. Is we've got these really big products that we're selling, really focusing on this documentary series that we've been working on. And that for me is a gateway to really give more insight into how I got started in filmmaking, why filmmaking was the thing. And it's a little bit more passion oriented than anything else. And that's really where I'd like to challenge you to go. I saw a woman the other day, actually, on LinkedIn. Her whole message was like, unfollow your passion, right? Like, don't go through with your passion. And I was like, the things that people come up with are just, they absolutely don't make any sense at all. So for me, I'm going to go a little bit more passion oriented on what it is that I like, what it is that I like to do, which is the filmmaking aspect of things. We're still going to talk about the marketing and everything, obviously, but think for yourself, what are some facets that you are really passionate about that you could either add a product in that you don't have right now, or take from another viewpoint and say, well, maybe I could talk a little bit more about this area of my life in my marketing that I'm really passionate and excited about. And it takes a little bit, of a step forward to be able to do that, because you're exposing something that maybe not a lot of people know about you. And it could be a little bit more uncomfortable, but it just falls in the same vein as marketing and what we've been talking about as far as content creation with products and services, that aspect of yourself that maybe you might think people find weird, or maybe they don't like, that's the part that you want to kind of dive into a little bit more and share with people, because you're just going to give them the opportunity to see a different aspect of you, right? Now, coming back, I did a mastermind in the middle of December, and it was really awesome. And one of the things that I talked about there was the multi-angular approach to getting people to respond to you and to listen to you. And that's something that this passion side of what it is that we do, or what it is that I'm trying to do, really feeds into, right? So at this point, what I'm looking at is, okay, if these individuals are known for, or if I'm known for this, and most people are coming in along this line, how could I create 2, 3, 4, 5, different viewpoints where I could inject that out into the marketplace and have these people come in from different angles, right? How could I specifically do that a little bit more in addition to what I'm already doing? Because somebody may not respond so much to the marketing, but they may respond to something else that I do. Because the whole goal of what I'm trying to do and what we try to teach you here is that we're trying to get a reaction. And when I say that, I'm not saying that to be rude. I'm not saying that to be violent. I'm saying that I'm trying to get a reaction from an audience to do something with me. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a like. I don't care if it's a comment. Ultimately, the reaction that I'm looking for is the ability for someone to actually turn into a lead or turn into a sale, right? Because that's what marketing is. We really are doing marketing to make money, okay? And I'm doing marketing to increase my income every day, to get more leads, to get more business, to acquire more sales, to expand my company. Yes, reach is great. The likes are great. The engagement is great. Branding is cool. Aesthetics look good. We like all those things. But what I want to turn that into money. I mean, I'm not going to hold back on that. It's like, what could I do that's going to turn into money today? And what can I say that's true in relation to the things that I know that I can put out there that's a little bit different, that's going to turn into an opportunity for income for me? So that's That's my mindset. My mindset is always about numbers. It's about income. It's about the sale. Okay. I love marketing. I don't hard sell. I mean, I hard sell in a different way. I mean, I hard sell through the sheer volume of content that I do. And hard sell is what I mean by somebody who's like, hey, buy this now, buy this now, buy this now. I don't do that. I've never done that. I do that on the sales call right at the end when we're ready to actually accept the credit card and I'm trying to get that deal over the finish line. But overall, I'm not a hard sell kind of a guy. So for me, what I'm trying to do is look at it from the standpoint of I'm going to hard sell you through the sheer volume of content that I have and also the different viewpoints that I could put out there, right? So I'm trying to assimilate right now and determine what are those different things that I want to dive into and really discuss throughout the year of 2022. So 2021, when I look at it, you know, the amount of content that we were doing really started ramping up probably towards the second to third half of the year. We were doing a lot of content already. We were doing a lot of distribution. But around September is where I really turned on the gas. And I would attribute that to really just removing all the limitations or thoughts about, oh, I don't think this is going to work out, or maybe I shouldn't say this, maybe I shouldn't say that. It really shifted when I just said, no, we're going to go fully in this direction and we're going to just blast as hard as we can, as often as we can with what it is that we need to discuss. And that's really worked for me. That's really worked very well for me. And I see that in the numbers. I see that in the statistics, right? So that's really like an all-encompassing view of where I'm trying to go in 2022, because most people want to change things. They want to adjust things and say, okay, let's do something better. Let's get super creative. And I don't want to change everything. I really don't want to change much, actually. I'm not trying to change anything. We're going to keep, what you want to do is keep in the successful things that already got you to where you are, but we want to add a few things. I'm not going to change the preliminary stuff that we do, but I want to add in a couple of more pieces, both from a testing standpoint, experimental standpoint, but also to really see what kind of results I'm going to get from these newer verticals that I want to add in. And when I'm talking about verticals, I'm really talking about different angles in business, different angles in life, different angles of my mindset and what I think about and how I approach things, because I think I shared enough on the branding and the marketing and the video production, and we're still going to continue to keep that in there. But I don't think I've gone enough into Robert Syslo and what he's really about. I started to recently, and that's worked really well, right? So that's that kind of soft sell. It's selling without telling you that it's an ad, really, is what we're doing here. And so for 2022, that's one of the things you want to look at is, how do I create that viewpoint of I'm selling you, but you don't know you're being sold? That's a magician, right? So how do I sell someone without telling them, right? I could come blatantly out and be like, I'm going to do this, and this is what we do. This is what we do. I think there's a time and a place for that. And that's really good. And you should have those things connected into the marketing and the distribution angle that we have. But overall, the majority, I would say 98% of my content is I'm selling you without you knowing that you're being sold, right? You're being sold because you listen. You're being sold because you pay attention. You're being sold because you're interested. And that's where we're driving that traffic and that interest from. And then I turn that into sales. And that's really my marketing strategy. I don't ever really do that hard sell thing because it doesn't. Do I think that it works? I think it works for certain people. It doesn't work really for me. I mean, it does, but it just doesn't feel genuine enough. And for me, when I'm doing my content and when I'm doing my distribution and when I'm doing those things along that line, I want it to be as genuine and as heartfelt as possible and as honest as possible, right? We signed on a new client towards the end of last year. And one of the things that he said was, the reason why I went with you, because I asked people around about you and they all said that you were honest. And it's like, yes, that's the truth. I'm very honest. If I can't do it, I'll tell you. If we run into a problem, I'll tell you. If something went wrong, I'll tell you what it was. You know, if I can't solve the problem immediately, I will find a way to solve that problem. But that's a brand piece of me, right? But the reason why that he said that was because of just my overall continual presence on these platforms in a way that really gets out there and people understand where it is that I'm coming from. I should be able to look at you or look at a brand and say, I trust these people without having to watch too much content. You know, you get that vibe and you're just like, okay, I really respond well to this, right? Or if you're trying to sell something and you're not getting the leads or the sales or the signups that you're looking for, you know, what approach are you taking? You know, are you being in front of it enough? Are you being present enough? Are you showing your face enough? Do you have someone who's actually showing their face enough to really showcase what it is that you're doing so that people can become interested, right? So for me, that's that multifaceted, okay, how many different ways can we do that? And then how can I actually position myself this way? And how do I continue that momentum of you don't know you're being sold, but you're being sold and you like it, right? You like it. You're like, wow, I actually like that. That actually feels good. That's actually a good conversation that I'm having. Where is that coming from? Well, that comes from the idea of what I'm talking about here, which is that should be your focus for 2022. Yes, the goals are great. Everything is great. But how are you creating content in such a way that people enjoy it, but they're being sold at the same time and they can't quite tell the difference between that? That's a good marketer. That's a good content creator. That's a good distributor, right? That's the direction that we're trying to go in 2022. All right. Now, one thing that we want to look at is provide a deeper perspective on yourself. Now, why do I say this? Well, I used to think that because I wasn't making hundreds of millions of dollars and because I wasn't, I don't know, didn't have the influence, I guess, or the following or the numbers or the ability to spend millions of dollars, that my communication about how I think about things should matter. And that was a really tough thing to navigate for me because a lot of guys are outspoken. A lot of people say different things that have a lot of clout. You know, they have that power, they have that position, and they have the money. You know, they have the money to throw it behind certain things and really drive that home. And for me, I was like, well, I don't really have that. And maybe I'm not quite the opinion leader that I need to be. But I realized over time, I started to experiment and test out. Like my wife and I went to New York City, I would say in the middle of December. And while I was there, I mean, I talked about where I started in New York and how that went. And that turned out to be one of my more popular videos, you know, giving insight into how I started back when I was, man, how old was I? I was 18. Back when I was 18. So that was, what is that, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 years ago, 18 years ago. And when I think about the time difference, it's pretty wild. But that's the point, is I wanted to start to experiment and give that deeper point of, okay, yeah, I went here. It was tough. I didn't have any money. I felt completely alone. I ate 99-cent pizza because that's all I could afford at the time. But I knew that if I persisted through this one thing, and I kind of just went through that story, and it just turned into a better, you know, resultant piece of work that I put out there from a marketing perspective. So that really got me thinking. And it's like, why would I think that my viewpoint wouldn't matter? Or why would I think that what it is that I'm discussing wouldn't matter when it does make a difference? And so for the deeper perspective viewpoint from your content creation and marketing in 2022, you know, really go into that. Okay. Yeah, we like the product. Yeah, we like the service. Yeah, we like the offers and this and that and all of the things connected to it. But, you know, that deeper personal journey, like, well, think about where you started, where it was like really tough. And really just start documenting that story. Like all these guys right now, I mean, they're doing that. And side note, like, don't get distracted with this NFT crypto stuff. Like, just, if you want to do it, great. But I mean, I just read an article that the majority of people who bought NFTs were low income, who make $30,000 a year or less. But these are the guys who are promoting that online. And I'm just like, okay, so, you know, if you stick to what you're good at, if you stick to the thing that you're good at, if you stick to your personal narrative, you know, get good at that, make some money at it, then go play somewhere else, you know? And that's all I've ever really done, is that I got really good at this one thing. And then I started to really attack everything else on multiple fronts. I was curious about that from that viewpoint and from that standpoint of just like, okay, this was tough. This was hard. This is what I went through. Here's where I started. This is what it was like. Da, 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 da. And I'm going to continue that because it's just a deeper insight into Syslo. And I want people to know about me. I want people to know more than just like, oh, well, he's video this and creative that. And, he does websites and videos and marketing, but there's other parts to me that I think are truly beneficial, because then that opens up a whole new strategy for attracting different types of people, which is what I want to do. That opens up a brand new way to attack the marketplace in 2022, which I'm really interested in. I just want to connect with more people, reach more people, have more people see the name, have more people see what it is that I'm about, and investing in better graphics, investing in better content creation, better equipment. I think I just bought 12 new lights. Like I bought 4, one of them didn't work, and then I bought 2 more, and I was like, okay, great. So now I got them all. And I have no problem doing that, because all that's going to help us out in the long term, right? Because that's what I want to know. I'm like, okay, where's that connection point? How can I connect better? And how many different angles and ways can I actually do that from the standpoint of distribution to attraction? Okay. Create, distribute, attract, create, distribute, attract. That's what I'm looking at all the time. And even in more so in 2022, knowing what's possible, knowing the targets of some of the stuff that we hit last month and even over the year, it's just like, okay, we can do more. And that for me is something that's truly, really exciting, is looking at it from that standpoint of, yes, I can do more than what it is that's already there. Okay. So creating that, diving deep on that, both personal level, business, personal, dissecting all that, expanding that out, really makes it more interesting to me. And I'll invest whatever I have to invest to really make that accelerate forward. And content wise, that's going to be reflected in the content, right? So if I tell you all the different assets of my personal story, how I was stuck on an island and I couldn't get home, what happened when I came back to the United States, what happened when I first came to Miami, what was it like when I first started making money, what were some of the challenges that I had to overcome working in a new large corporation, all that stuff. It just becomes another entryway for people to connect to me. So it's not just about the products and services that I sell, but it's also about the viewpoints of where I've come from, right? Because I want an affinity level, which is really what we're talking about here, right? Which is one of the other things I wanted to talk about, is like, how do I get people to not like, but resonate? I don't really care if somebody likes me. Obviously I enjoy communication. I enjoy talking. I enjoy getting to know people, but it's not like I need you to like me. I don't have that. It's more of the, can I get people to have affinity for me and say, oh yeah, Rob's a good guy. We like Rob. We like what he's doing. He responds. He does this. He does that. And I've created that whole ecosystem myself through the content that I actually produce. And that's something that for me is really paramount, because I'm going to get the results that I'm looking for. So, and all that's going to translate into, like, if I'm doing an event and I'm not getting registrations, I can fix that through what we're talking about. If I'm doing a webinar, or if I'm just trying to sell a product or get more signups or something like that, this is another supplement that I can use that with. Now, do I have to go crazy? I could go as crazy as I want in the content creation, but overall, what we're really looking for here is just the ability to create that ecosystem that people could come in from multiple different verticals. Okay. And so for 2022, this is the message that I really wanted to impart to you and give you kind of like a mental prep for what we're going to be doing over the coming weeks throughout the year. Now that we got our schedule back, we got our situation back, and I wanted to just get this motion back in. Some of you guys are working, you're back to work. I'm not going to do a long one today, but I wanted to just give you that kind of beginning steps of where my mindset's at, so that you could take it back to your brand, you could take it back to your business, and really put that into play and start to see that turn around. All right. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to kind of open it up to some questions. It's really short. Like, I wanted to do a little bit of a shorter one, but we'll get back to our full hour trainings and we'll take it from there. So if you have specific questions, you could type it in chat, and I'll open it up to anything that you have on that front, whatever it might be. And then we can take it from there. We'll end off, and then we'll pick up again next week and really dive into some good concepts that you could start applying. And it's okay if you don't have any questions. It's not the end of the world. No problem. We can always come back. But I'll put the replay up on YouTube, and you guys can come back to it and check it out whenever you need it. Let's see. I don't see any Q&As or anything coming through on that. All right, great. So that's really what I wanted to do, is give you the mindset for that. And just kind of a quick recap: multiple verticals, a little bit more personal. You want people to come into that ecosystem, upping the content with more of that personalized viewpoint stuff on yourself, and get you in that position so that you can attract more people. Don't just go hard on the product. Don't just go hard on the event. Give people an ecosystem. Give them a deeper insight and a window into your life and into your experience. Okay. So thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next week, Wednesday at 7 o'clock. We'll go a lot longer. We'll dive in. Wanted to get you going for 2022. I'll see you next